안녕하세요, 여러분. Welcome back to the channel. Mitch's Mitchin 영어 coaching. I'm Mitchy Sam, Mitchy teacher. That's my name, Mitch. 미치겠다. That's me. And English is crazy. That's why I have this channel where I will teach you how to speak English more naturally, more confidently, and more professionally, right? Because a lot of you, I know, you are workers and you work in a company, and a lot of times in Korea, you have to do global business, right? You have to do business with maybe your company is a US company or from another country, but oftentimes even Korean companies, they go to global conferences, they meet people from all over the world. And so in this channel and on these videos, I want to help you in these situations to be able to speak English confidently and to be able to help you in your career so that you will be able to make better business relationships, make better personal relationships in the international community. Okay, so that's the purpose of this. This is why I have my channel, YouTube channel. I have Instagram. I have all of these different ways that you can see my content. And if you go to my website at mitchinenglishcoach.com, you can find out more about all of that. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is mastering the art of polite business communication, right? When you communicate in business, you need to be polite. Okay, that's, of course, everybody knows that. But how do we be polite? Well, I'll give you some tips today. And every video, I'll give you tips about this. This is what I do. Polite business communication, okay? So in a global office, it's not just about what you say, but it's about how you say it, okay? The how you say it is very important. So you can learn different words and phrases. That's what you say. But how you say it is even more important sometimes, okay? And that's the part that you can't really learn from a textbook. And that's what I want to teach you in these videos. Sometimes we worry about being, too blunt, or sounding like a beginner, your level sounds too low, or you just don't sound polite. You know how you're trying to communicate, but it's just, you come up a little bit short. You can't quite say it exactly how you want to say it. If you were speaking in Korean, it'd be a much more natural process. But in English, there's a barrier, there's a limit. Okay, so that's what I want to help you with. Today, we're going to look at 3 essential skills, okay? First of all, interrupting a conversation politely. When you're having a meeting and you have to interrupt the conversation, that's a skill that we're going to look at. Asking for help, like a pro when you're working, you often need to ask someone for help, a colleague or someone else. So we're going to talk about that today. And then also ending emails, so that you get a fast reply. Because, when sometimes you send an email to somebody, they don't answer, and you're just waiting and waiting, no answer. I'm going to help you get an answer quicker, okay? I'm going to give you some phrases that you can put at the end of your email. It's going to make them want to answer you faster, okay? So those are the things we're going to cover today. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about interrupting without being rude, okay? This is a good skill to have because there's kind of a social barrier when you're trying to jump into the conversation. It's hard, especially if you're not a native English speaker and you're having a meeting with other native English speakers. Or maybe they're not native speakers, but their level is quite good. In business, that happens a lot, right? You're at a global conference, you're having a meeting or some kind of workshop or something, and a discussion happens, even a casual discussion. And you want to get in there, you want to say something, but people they just talking so fast and they're just going on, and it's hard to know when and how to get in the conversation. But I'll give you a few phrases here, key phrases that will make it much easier and very natural and polite, okay? So that you can say what you want to say, because you also have ideas, right? You have things that you want to say and that you should say, right? You're a person too. Don't let English stop you. Don't let English be the barrier, okay? Let me give you some phrases. First one, you could say, everybody's talking, everybody's having a meeting. You want to get in there, you could just say, sorry to jump in, but I have an idea, or sorry to jump in, but I think, blah, 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 okay? That's very simple. Sorry to jump in. Jump in means jump into the conversation, okay? And it sounds kind of friendly. It sounds a little bit playful, jump in, but still professional. So that's a good phrase to use in a professional setting. Everybody will say, oh, yeah, go ahead. What do you want to say? Another one, can I just add something here? Yeah, can I just add something here? That means I have something to say. Okay, so can I just add something? And last one, you could say, while we're on the topic, and then say something else related to the topic. Okay, now you can't use this one if you're gonna change the topic. That one won't work, right? But if you want to add to this topic, then say, okay, while we're on the topic, can I just say something real quick? That kind of thing. While we're on the topic, let me just add something here. Okay, in English, we often add these phrases like just, let me just, those kind of, make it sound like I'm going to be very quick. This is going to be short. I don't need a lot of time, but let me just quickly say something here. Okay. So any of those phrases you can use to politely interrupt the conversation. Okay. Now, the second thing I want to talk about here is what about when you're asking for help? Right? Don't just say, oh, can you help me? Help me sounds a bit like you're a student, like you need help, like you're the weak one. You don't want to sound weak. In business, you want to sound knowledgeable. You want to sound like a leader, right? And so, there's nothing wrong with getting help. But asking for help, you don't want to sound like you're begging. Oh, please help me. Please help me. No, instead of that, say these phrases. Could you give me a hand with this? Give me a hand. Hand, it just means help, okay? But we use that idiom. Can you give me a hand with this? Okay, that is very casual, good for friends, peer-to-peer colleagues. You're working with people. You can say, oh, can you give me a hand with this for a minute? Or do you have a quick minute? Do you have a quick minute? I need to talk about something. Or do you have a quick minute? I need your help with something. That sounds better than just, hey, can you help me? That can sound a little bit too abrupt, but can I just, do you have a quick minute? That kind of thing. I was wondering if you could look over this. Let's say you have a report or an email you want them to check. You say, oh, I was just wondering if you could look over this real quick. Okay. Again, adding those words, just real quick, just for a minute, just a second, that makes it a little easier for the person to say, oh yeah, I can do that, right? Because they don't want to be rude either. But if you come across like you're being rude, they might be rude back, right? But if you come across very nice and kind and like, oh, it'll just take a second, this is just a quick, then they'll say, oh yeah, I can do that, right? Because they also don't want to seem rude, right? And if you say, oh, I was wondering if you could look over this, it'll just be real quick. And then if they say, oh, no way, now they're the rude ones, right? And they don't want that either. So generally, if you use these phrases, it will go better. The conversation and the what you need will happen. Okay, you'll get their help. Okay, and then now let's talk about email. Okay, email is something we do often at work, right? Email, text messaging, we have to do it. Okay, there are some phrases you can use to make someone respond quickly without sounding too pushy. Okay, because sometimes you want them to answer you quickly, but they don't. Maybe days go by and they haven't said anything, right? So that happens a lot. People are busy, we don't blame them. But then how do you get them to answer you quickly? Well, here's some phrases put at the end of your emails, and this will help you get faster responses. You could say, I look forward to hearing from you soon. I look forward to hearing from you soon, okay? Very simple. Just put that at the end of the thing and then sign your name. They will say, oh, okay, I'll get back to you quickly. Please let me know your thoughts by the end of the day. Okay, this one's, you're setting a soft deadline here. End of the day today. That means, very quickly. Now, sometimes you need to give more time. You could say, please let me know your thoughts by Friday or by next week. Any deadline is okay. If you need more time, give them more time. If it needs to be quickly, say end of the day. But please, important, please let me know your thoughts by the end of the day. That means I want to know what you think about this. And then the last one, thank you in advance for your quick response. Okay, this is a very polite way to put pressure on them, right? Basically, you're saying, I know you're going to respond quickly, right? So I'm thanking you in advance. And then they have to say, oh, I better respond quickly. Okay, so it's a very good way to kind of trick them, I guess, into answering fast. So thank you in advance for your quick response. That means I'm thanking you now because I know you're going to answer me quickly. Okay, so 이런 작은 차이가 여러분의 비즈니스 매너를 결정합니다. Okay, so you can, try to use these phrases in work when you're working in the office or even casual conversations. You can still use these for other situations, not only in the office. Okay, so try it out. Let me know which one is your favorite. 댓글도 알려주세요. Okay, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Share it with your friends, anybody, your coworkers, colleagues, people you're working with. Let them know about 미친 영어 coaching. All right, see you in the next video. 다음에 더 만나요.